What if your legacy is more than about what you leave behind? It's actually about how you live your life today, starting today. If I was to use Pareto's law about 80-20, an interesting observation can be made about the internet is that about 80% of the presentations or results of your search around legacy comes back around financial planning. And there's a lot more to legacy than that. And that's what I want to share in today's video so that you can get a bit of a baseline to take a look at living a legacy life. To be able to set this up, I'm just going to reference the Wellth Movement video and this notion of pathway that you can follow. And living legacy life is to embrace that path, to be able to look at what living legacy and life is about and weave them together. And to set this up, let me share the following. When I gave workshops earlier about Wellth Movement in my career, I would use standard of living and quality of life. And the standard of living was that idea without, within. What is it that you've collected or what you want to touch that's outside and you want to bring in to improve what you would call your standard of living? And then what I would do is I would chat about the within, without, which was to take a look at what was inside of you that you wanted to express going out. So think of it this way. Standard of living is what's of importance to you. Quality of life is your expression of your satisfaction. And then what I did is along my career is I added the word legacy because of my own awareness, but also the sense of the experience of legacy, which is that sense of what do I intend to leave, or I set an intention to live the legacy that I'm going to leave. And that shifted the whole idea because what it did is it gave me another way in which to look at standard of living and quality of life so that I blended them in a sense together. I had to find out what was going on between them, but then to express them together and then take that out into the beyond. And that's about living a legacy life in full expression. With that full expression, your values and stories start to unfold that others can pick up on, but especially yourself, because as you reflect in and on and for and from and because of, you start picking up, oh, these are the fibers to threads to strings that are possible for me, and do I actually action them and get the outcomes that I've set in motion? And that's where the fun really begins. There's freedom and fulfillment that goes with that. And that's what really came to my understanding of my heart to my head to my hands. And that was a great way to be able to then share it with others, just as I'm doing now with this video. So let's look at the definition of legacy. This is one that I created. Legacy is about the useful whats that you gift others so that they can learn something from you. So the idea is to gift it. To give is from the head, to gift is from the heart. And it's about the useful whats. And whats, for me, are time, effort, and money. That's how I understand them. The allocation of those. So in living my legacy life, what I'm doing is about my time, effort, and money that I'm allocating out through what it is that I'm doing, my values, my stories, my contributions, my projects, that others can learn from me, something from me. And that, when I ground myself in that understanding, then I walk with that intention about what I want to improve, focus, and strengthen. And for me, that's a great platform to start with. And then you open up all the other kind of possibilities about living legacy life, of which in the series that I'm sharing with you, there is then this living legacy stories, It could have been living legacy contributions or living legacy projects, but I chose stories. And then I went to living legacy outdoors rather than living legacy grandparents or living legacy travels. And I'll explain more in the videos forthcoming. But it was this grounding that really helped me to understand how I might go about my daily life, the actions and outcomes that I would take up. And I suggest that you maybe listen to that definition again and write down maybe your own thoughts, what edits you would make, add, alter, delete to that definition, and create something for yourself that gives you insights into the pathway that you want to follow for yourself to get that well-being, well-living in movement, both physically and then social, culturally. I got asked one day, can you just give me a little bit better understanding of legacy and it's sort of a bigger picture, like a swath, like a painting swath across the canvas? And I said, sure. How about if I gave it to you through the story of the 5 branches of legacy? And the person said, okay, go for it. And I said, okay, here we go at a very high level. The first branch goes back to life and living, and the determination of that quality of life that you wish to experience through your living, and legacy helps you do that. The second one was around leadership, which was the step into how you guide others to take up safer practices, not only for yourself, but they take up safer practices of living that legacy life. And sometimes we forget about what we share can also lead others to other places. And therefore, to really pay attention to what you're saying. The words matter. And your legacy gets linked to the words that matter, whether they're said or in print or crafted into a sculpture or whatever they might be. The third branch was around the sense of legal. There are aspects of living legacy life that legal requirements are there, your will, your living will, how you want to be treated as you're aging. There are elements of that you want to get out. What are some of the legacy notes or letters that you want to leave with your will? And then there's your digital footprint. What do you want happen with that? You have to think through from a legal point of view. The fourth branch is around literacy, and literacy in the sense of, yes, there's math and reading and that, but there's the literacy of the whole, because if you're stepping into living your legacy life and what you want to do, you have to stay current in what's happening. You have to take a look at the ways in which you want to unfold this quality of life and the words that matter to you, and to sort of see what takes place. And then there's the branch called leverage. It's a play on lever or leverage. Leverage, what is it that you would love to share in your aging? And that may shift along as time goes by, but this sense of the leverage that you have and your full expression of what that looks like, feels like, tastes like, smells like, intuit for yourself. Now, these 5 branches, I'm going to be developing other videos that will go deeper into each one, and in a sense creating like checklists that can guide you in moving forward. I think you can see Pepper in the window now. Welcome, Pepper. So with that is the 5 branches at a high level for you. The other great thing about living your life and just sort of sitting down and shooting videos where you got Pepper coming in the window, and then I've got Georgia just down here, is to have some other companions join you, and to have the sun coming up from a sunrise, making the day, lighting the day. And I just want to acknowledge that. And I've just shifted my perspective a little bit for this last part of the video. What I also wanted to share with you is one of the great ways in which to organize your thinking of without, within, and what you want to improve, focus, and strengthen through your legacy, living your legacy life. And it's from the perspective of STEEP: social, cultural, technological, environmental, economic, and political. There are big issues that are complicated out there that you can get involved with, and then the sub-issues that you might be able to do something from a legacy point of view. And I mention it, and again, I will be making reference to some deeper dives into STEEP. Well, what this did for me, and I'll share a personal story here, is that of all the things that are going on, I had to sort of go, hang on a minute, I'm going to have to pick a few of these, because which ones do I really want to get involved with? And so I said, okay, social, cultural, environmental, then technology. And I said that would be a way that I would go about it. And the reason being is that this living legacy life has become quite important to me in living my life. And then the sense of, environment, forests, trees, and that was something important because of my own personal life involvement as I've moved through life. And then the technology was, wow, it's going so quickly, is that if I don't stay at top of it, I might miss out. Because I remember the first email that I sent, I was an instructor at a college, and we went to a course, and they said, you have to start learning about email. I said, well, just let the students come to me for my office hours. And they said, well, not all students can make into office hours, and so we're going to lean into this technology of using email. I went, oh, okay. Well, here we are, off to the races in terms of emails. So that's an acknowledgement of, okay, of STEEP, what do I want to get involved with? So when I got into that environmental aspect of it, I went so far as to go into agroforestry, specifically edible forests, or the sense of food forests, whichever term you may know or you'll come to know, is because I'll be doing a lot more insights into agroforestry and food forests, because a lot of the work I'm going to be doing is improve, focus, and strengthen fundraising for those kinds of projects. And that's the story that I'll be following through, that you can join me with and understand and develop your own approach, your own pathway of living this legacy life. And so in this pathway, I decided living legacy life, stories, contributions, and projects. I would go with stories because I like to write. And then later maybe come back to contributions and projects of what it is that I can get involved with. But you'll notice the sequence is living legacy life, living legacy stories, living legacy outdoors. That's the progress and the platform I'm going to work with to start with. Now, yours could be a little different in terms of what you want to get involved with, because starting with STEEP, you may have a different issues, sub-issues that you want to interact with to make a contribution of your time, effort, and money so others can learn something from you. So with that, I just wanted to acknowledge that this is an overview video of Living Legacy Life. There'll be a lot more shot that will go deeper into different aspects of this. And your comments will be so appreciated, and suggestions of what you would like me to chat about, and or maybe suggest, hey, can we have an interview? And I'd say, sure, let's get together. Some of them might be live, some might be recorded. Let's see what happens, okay? The videos that are now popping up, I would encourage you to take a look at the one that's suggested, recommended to you as another jumping off point. But there is the sequence of the vlog playlist, if you want. But also what I'm bringing up here for you is the shorts playlist. from a shorts point of view is there's at least 4 per week, and I use them as prompts for myself, because then that gets me into my journals, and I share them with you as a way in which to get into your journal, that you can keep track of what's going on and guide you in your decisions about living your legacy life.